I've been building my own kingdom for everyone to see. It exists to keep me safe from harm, and it's intact to glorify me. Nobody helped me build this up. It was me and me alone. I've appointed myself as the king, and I've given myself the throne. But it turns out I'm no ruler, and I have no control. So I have decided to destroy it all. I'm tearing down the walls, kicking down the doors. Everything inside this kingdom is yours. 'Cause what I've made is worthless, and it cannot stand. Come and breathe some life into my empty, cold, dead hands. Down with the fickle king, away with this fantasy. You are the one I need. Death to the kingdom of me. Death to the kingdom of me. I should probably be frightened. This empire's all I know, but it always does more damage than good. I'm afraid it's gotta go. I know that I can't be trusted, 'cause I'm just a man. And if you hadn't given your life for me, a loser would be all that I am. You know they say just follow your heart. I'm afraid that's a load of trash. Your heart will take you down to deep, dark places where you feel like you'll never come back. So I'm coming out of the dark. This facade is I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, I woke up feeling like it might be a good day to get it done. That's right. Oh, the stadium is just like my second house. Now I'm two-tone talking, they can't shut my mouth. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, 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 yeah. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Two-Tone Talk by God Pod, right here live on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you may be listening. Good to see you here today on the Two-Tone Talk by God Pod. Oh my goodness. It's episode 151. I hope you were able, to check out the 150th episode last Friday with special guest Teron Davenport. Had a great time with him. And now today we're back here to talk about a couple of things related to the draft and related to a couple of players that Titans fans are talking about potentially coming to the Titans that I think would be a terrible idea. Let's talk about the fact that it is February 24th, and if you remember, back when Mike Borgonzi was introduced as the new GM of the Tennessee Titans, like a month ago, whenever that was, they said, we are going to spend the month of February in a room watching film and scouting guys. As a matter of fact, they said, we are not going to see daylight during the month of February because we are going to be scouting and watching film so much. Well, February has a few days left. It is almost time to emerge into the daylight for Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker and scouts and whoever else, because the combine is coming up. And it makes you wonder, do the Tennessee Titans have any clearer of a direction after all of the film watching and all of the scouting that they've been doing in February? Do the Titans have any sort of inclination as to what they may do with the first pick in the draft? I'm sure they don't have anything definitively. As a matter of fact, on Friday, Teron Davenport, he's confident. He said he's confident the Titans have no idea quite what they're going to do. But you mean to tell me after all of this film they've been watching this month, you mean to tell me they don't even have any semblance of a direction? They don't even have, like, here's our best option, but if that doesn't work out, we'll do this? Like, you mean to tell me they don't know? I'm not saying they don't know definitively, but you mean to tell me after all of this, they're not even leaning in a certain direction? Going into the combine, where neither Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward are going to be throwing, by the way. That's kind of a bummer. But the Titans haven't even interviewed Cam Ward yet, so that's still got to happen. Boy, oh boy. Let's talk about Matthew Stafford. The LA Rams have given Matthew Stafford permission to seek a trade, which is something that most of us suspected that they would do. And so it's caused a bunch of Titans fans to say, okay, should the Titans trade for Matthew Stafford? Now, I've done a video about this on the Two Tone Talk YouTube page that you can go watch. Two things can be true at once. Matthew Stafford is still playing at a very high level at 37 years old. He was great for the Rams. I stand by this. The Rams gave the Eagles the toughest test they had in the playoffs this year in the snow. Matthew Stafford is still playing at a very high level. And if, this is a big statement, if put in the right situation, I actually think Matthew Stafford could still take a team to the Super Bowl if he was in the right situation. Similar to the Rams a few years ago when the Rams won the Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. I still think Stafford can be a game changer for a lot of teams. That is true. The other part that's true is that this would be an absolutely insane thing for the Tennessee Titans to do at this point. The report has come out today that Matthew Stafford is wanting, and who knows how true this is, who knows the validity, he's wanting $50 million a year. People speculating that whichever team were to trade for Matthew Stafford is going to have to give him a 3-year, $150 million contract. If you want the Tennessee Titans to do that, you're out of your mind. If you want the Titans, because not only are you paying this 37-year-old who's still playing at a high level, but he's got more years behind him than he has in front of him in the NFL. Not only are you saying you're going to give that guy a 3-year, $150 million contract, but you are also giving up God only knows what in terms of draft picks. The Titans already don't have a third rounder for this year, so now you're talking about maybe giving up your second round pick to get Matt. No, that just idiotic. Not to mention the fact that the Tennessee Titans, they're not. Matthew Stafford's not taking the Tennessee Titans to a Super Bowl in 2025. Are you kidding me? Maybe. I said this last time I talked about Stafford here on the channel, here on the podcast. If you're the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know what the cap situation is there, but like Matthew Stafford would be a much better fit with the Minnesota Vikings because the Vikings were a really good team with Sam Darnold. You need a quarterback that can get you over the hump to get you from being a playoff team to being a Super Bowl team. Matthew Stafford could do that for the Vikings. Some people would argue that Matthew Stafford could maybe do that for the Steelers. I don't know. But like Matthew Stafford could be a good fit for a team like that. The Tennessee Titans have no business paying $50 million a year for Matthew Stafford. The Tennessee Titans, who have already said they want to acquire 12 top 100 picks over the next 3 years, the Tennessee Titans have no business trading picks away for a 37-year-old quarterback, even though that 37-year-old quarterback is still very good. Yes, but that would be asinine. So let's get that out of the way. The Tennessee Titans will not and should not make a trade for Matthew Stafford, but somebody very well may. Somebody may very well trade for Matthew Stafford. A lot of people think that the New York Giants might trade for Matthew Stafford. Now, I think it would be stupid for the Giants to do it. The Giants don't have a good roster. Matthew Stafford doesn't make the Giants a Super Bowl contender. Giants probably have a slightly better roster than the Titans do right now, just because they have Malik Neighbors. Gosh, I can't get rid of this cough, man. It's been with me for a couple of weeks now. The New York Giants have Malik Neighbors. The New York Giants have a couple of more young pieces than the Titans do. But still, I think it would be reckless for the Giants to pay Matt Stafford $150 million a year. But a lot of people are attaching Matt Stafford's name to the Giants. What would that mean? Think about this. What would that mean if the Giants were to make a trade for Matthew Stafford? Because who has been the team that we have looked at and said that team would be the best trade partner for the Titans? It's the Giants. The Giants are at 3, and a lot of people view the Giants as the best team for the Titans to trade back. Well, if they make a trade for Matthew Stafford, they're probably going to be less inclined to still trade up, right? Because if the Giants were going to trade up, it would probably be for a quarterback, either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. But if they've already got Stafford, who they're paying $150 million, if they were to make that trade, they're probably not going to be as inclined. They're probably going to be more inclined to just stay where they are. So that's going to be interesting to watch. If Stafford were to get traded to the Giants, what would that mean for the Titans' chances of trading back? What if Stafford got traded to the Raiders? I think that would be stupid for the Raiders because I don't think Stafford would be enough of a difference maker for them either. But what if Stafford got traded to the Raiders? The Raiders would probably not be as inclined to trade up from 6. They would probably be more inclined to just stay where they are. So watching where Stafford gets traded to eventually, it could have bearings on who the Titans are willing to trade back with. Because if one of those teams gets Stafford, they're probably not going to be trying to trade up. I mean, I guess you could always say, you could always say maybe a team would trade up for Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, but that leads me to this. The Titans, I believe, according to reports that we're seeing from A to Z Sports and places like that, I think the Titans are very interested in trading back. As a matter of fact, I would venture to say the Tennessee Titans are going to listen to every single offer that anybody could possibly have to trade back. My personal belief, and this is where the problem comes in, I don't think the Titans are going to get a good enough offer. I really don't. I think the Titans would love to get a team to just trade the house to come up to number 1, but I don't think they're going to get enough. I mean, I'm seeing all of these projected trades of teams who give us a 3rd rounder, maybe next year's 2nd rounder. It's just like, if you can't get a 2026 first rounder, I don't think this is a smart trade to do. And so I just wonder. I have no doubt the Titans are going to be trying to trade back. I just don't know if they're going to get a good enough offer. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. Even to trade back to 3 for a team like the Giants. I mean, I just don't think that would be worth it for the Titans. I think my gut feeling is the Titans are going to listen to every offer. They're going to decide none of them are good enough, and they're probably just going to stay at number 1. Now, what they do at that point, I don't know. But there are different reports out there. Some people insist that the Titans do not want to take a quarterback. They are not feeling pressured to take a quarterback, whether that be Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. There are some reports out there that just insist the Titans don't want to do it. But then there are other reports emerging now that the Titans are absolutely interested in the quarterbacks. I mean, it's draft season, everybody. There are going to be so many reports from the national media, from the local media, and they all contradict each other. I think the consensus that I'm feeling is that more people are seeing Cam Ward as a legitimate first round talent. Shador, it varies, but I see a lot of people who are kind of emerging as, hey, Cam Ward can be a guy. Cam Ward could be very special. And I think there is a very realistic possibility that the Titans go Cam Ward with the first pick in the draft at this point. And I've gone back and forth. At one time, I thought it was not going to happen, and we're only in February. We're not even in March yet. At one point, I thought there's no way. They're not going to take a quarterback. They're going to go Abdul Carter. They're going to trade back. Now I'm leaning more toward quarterback again. I think that, you look at the other options. I mean, Will Levis. You guys are talking about Will Levis. I see you in the comments. A couple of you mentioned Will Levis. Do you just pass on a quarterback and go with Levis again? I just see no way. I see no way the Titans do that, and here's why. Brian Callahan is coaching for his job. If things go badly in Tennessee in 2025, Brian Callahan's going to be the first guy to go. If things don't go well, Brian Callahan's going to be the first guy to go. He is not going to put his coaching job on the line, and he's not going to put it in the hands of Will Levis. He's just not going to do that. And I think ultimately, now it's not his choice. It's Borgonzi and Brinker's choice. But if you're going to go with Will Levis at quarterback, you either have to have an understanding with Brian Callahan that, hey, we're not going to put it on you. Like, if we suck because of Will Levis, we're not going to put it on you. We understand this could be another bad year. That's what you have to do if you're going to keep Will Levis. Otherwise, how do you not have tension? How do you not have tension between ownership and the coach? Because the coach is going to be sitting there going, okay, you're sticking me with a guy who turns the ball over like crazy, who was a disaster last season. You're sticking me with him again, and if it doesn't work out, I'm going to get fired. How's that not going to create some tension between Brian Callahan and the ownership? So I think at the end of the day, Will Levis is not the starter going into week 1 in 2025. I just see no way. I see no way. Now, if you sign a veteran, if you sign Aaron Rodgers, I've seen his name a lot in the chat here. If you sign Aaron Rodgers, if you sign Derek Carr, if you sign Kirk Cousins, if you sign any of those affordable, cheap veterans, you could keep Will Levis as a backup, no harm, no foul. But the thing is, if you draft Cam Ward, I don't see how Will Levis only been in the league 2 years. You're going to have a quarterback room consisting of Cam Ward and Will Levis? You think Levis is going to be a mentor? No, this guy's here to take your job. I think if you're going to draft quarterback, you've got to try to find a trade for Will Levis, whether that be a late round pick or whatever. But I just don't see any way the Titans come back with Will Levis as the starter in 2025, just because there's people's jobs on the line. And yeah, you could say, well, they're going to sacrifice Brian Callahan. They're going to sacrifice Brian Callahan to just go in a new direction next year. Okay, here's the problem. If you're going to do that, then why didn't you just fire Brian Callahan when you fired Rand Carthon? What did we all say? And I talked about it with Teron Davenport on Friday. When they fired Rand Carthon, we all said, hey, if you're going to fire Rand, you may as well fire everybody. They didn't. They only fired Rand. So that clearly points to the fact, and Teron Davenport backed this up on Friday, they still believe in Brian Callahan. They still think he can work it out and be a good head coach. They still want to give him another opportunity because they think there's something there. Okay, if you think there's something there, you've got to give this guy, if he's sitting there in private and he's saying, hey, this quarterback, Will Levis, really kind of screwed things up for me. He's not good. He's not, he turns the ball over. He doesn't see the field. He can't work through his progressions. How do you put your coach in that position of going out there with that guy again? So I mean, unless literally everything goes off, unless the train completely goes off the tracks and there is just nobody else available, I don't see a way Will Levis is back on as the starter. Now, if you don't draft quarterback, you go a vet, then yeah, Will Levis can be the backup. But if you're going to draft Cam Ward, I think Will Levis is probably going to get traded. So that's the Will Levis of it all. Brinkerhead Snake in the chat's talking about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's not going to be as expensive as that Matthew Stafford contract that I was talking about earlier. But I don't want to pay a bunch of money for Sam Darnold. You're talking about overpaying probably a 2 to 3 year deal. You're getting a worse version of Ryan Tannehill. When Tannehill was in his prime with the Titans, 2019, 2020. Like, you're getting a worse version of that, I think. I have no interest. Like, if you go sign Sam Darnold, you are essentially saying this is going to be our quarterback for the next few years. Is anybody interested in that? Is anybody interested in watching Sam Darnold for 3 years with the Titans? And I get what Brinkerhead Snake is saying, the Alex Smith method. Yes, but Alex Smith had the Chiefs as a bona fide playoff team. I don't think Sam Darnold would have that same success with the Titans. I don't remember what the contract was like between Alex Smith and the Chiefs. Debt fan man, Detroit fan man, debt says, that's what the Titans would be in if they signed Sam Darnold. Debt. What is Darnold worth annually? Is he a $30 million quarterback? I mean, there were people that thought he was going to get $50 million for a $100 million 2-year deal is what a lot of people were thinking. And then he kind of had a disastrous end of the season, and people think that may have dropped his stock. But I mean, that is so, it's just not the answer to me. I don't see Sam Darnold as a viable option for the Titans, unless he's just unbelievably much cheaper than we thought. But other than that, I mean, you're looking at a veteran. And that's if the Titans don't. Because what are the chances? And I'm just all over the place here. But what are the chances the Titans draft Cam Ward number 1, say, and then still bring in a veteran anyway? Could you? How about this scenario? Trade Will Levis for hopefully a 5th round pick or something. Then you sign Aaron Rodgers. He comes in, and then you draft Cam Ward number 1 overall. So now you have Rodgers as the starter, Ward as the backup, Levis as a backup somewhere else. And now Ward can kind of learn the ropes for a year under Aaron Rodgers. Now, I'm throwing Aaron Rodgers' name out there. I liked the option of Aaron Rodgers. Every time I bring it up to somebody, they hate it. Teron Davenport said he didn't think, as much as we don't think Brian Callahan would want to put his coaching career in the hands of Will Levis, Teron Davenport stresses that, he also wouldn't want to put his career in the hands of Aaron Rodgers either, more so because of Aaron Rodgers' personality. There is a belief that if Aaron Rodgers comes in because of his personality and because of how out there he is, then maybe the belief will be, oh, anything good the Titans accomplish, it's just because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is his own coach. Brian Callahan doesn't have a say. There is a reputation that Aaron Rodgers has of being a hard guy to coach. And would that be compatible with Brian Callahan, who's going into his 2nd year as a head coach and just trying to gain some credibility? Would that be worth it? So there's just so much as we go into this combine and the reports that are out there about the Titans wanting to trade back. But again, my personal belief is that I don't think they're going to get a good enough offer at this time. They've watched the film on Cam Ward. They're going to interview him at some point. They've watched the film on Shador. They like Shedeur. Teron said on Friday, the Tennessee Titans, after their interview, they really like Shedeur Sanders. Ooh, boy. Is Shedeur Sanders worth a number one pick? Dude, I don't know. But one thing you have to keep in mind, with free agency approaching in next month, in a couple of weeks, will we see something unfold in free agency, not just for the Titans, but for other teams, that kind of gives us hints as to where these teams may be heading in the draft? Because if the Titans, or let's say the Raiders go sign Sam Darnold, okay, because a lot of people think they will. Let's say the Raiders go sign Sam Darnold. Well, then that would point to the fact that the Raiders, like all of these mock drafts that have them taking Shedeur, if they sign Sam Darnold, then they're probably not taking Shedeur. And then if the Titans know some of these teams that were in a market for a quarterback signed one in free agency, are the Titans more inclined to try to trade back and still get a quarterback? Oh, it makes your head spin. It makes your head spin. I'll end today by acknowledging Luke's comment, who says, trading back tells me the Titans don't know theirself or what the Titans don't know themselves what they're even doing. I think if the Titans trade back, what that backs up is what Chad Brinker said on day one of Mike Morganzi's introductory press conference, where he said, I want 12 top 100 picks over the next 3 years. If you trading back or trading players is the only way to get that. And that brings up another discussion. Are there any players the Titans could trade for top 100 picks? If there are, that list is very small. That list is like 2 people. So I don't know. That's it for today. A little short episode. I'm not really feeling well, so that's going to do it for me today. Everybody go subscribe to Two Tone Talk on YouTube. God bless you, everybody.